Dear members, and especially our visitors and guests, please note the following important announcement. By attending the remote Zoom meeting event, which is also live streamed on YouTube, you agree to the public policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages, will be recorded. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International and Leadership Speak and or any of its members from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. Zoom Master, you could start recording now. Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced club, Toastmasters Club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. My name is Gilda Schla, and I am serving as the Surgeon at Arms for this meeting. Our club mission: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Our leadership statement: Leadership Speak is the premium club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club, focuses primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has virtual hand raised so we could all see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will be leading our meeting, is a member of Paris La Défense Toastmaster Club since January 2019 and has been a president of the club for 2 mandates. She joined Leadership Speak in 2023. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Carine Baptiste. The stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Gilda, for this great introduction. Dear member of Toastmasters and welcome guests, this is my pleasure to run this online meeting and work with incredible members in Leadership Speak. Our theme today is Leadership Bridge, Connecting People. This theme includes all ingredients about fostering collaboration, creating shared value between us, helping each other. In fact, this club gathers more than 50 members coming from 29 countries worldwide. And in this huge club, we can build our trust, to be aligned with our goals, to be supportive with each other, and also to develop our growth. We hope navigate changes, and we want to move forward together. All elements illustrate our club because thanks to your expertise, your valuable experience, your kindness, you can be more strong. You can achieve a lot of achievements. For example, some of them achieve a high level in terms of contest, organize different events in terms of district, club officer training, because you have built different bridges that interact with us. And also, the big achievements of a Toastmaster member is to achieve your DTM, a big and important certification in Toastmaster. Thanks to your hard work, your motivation, and that shows nothing is impossible. The bridge also represents great leaders that are pillars in our club because they show the example and they help us to develop our growth, to move more and more in different levels to achieve our pathways, and also to get out of our comfort zone. The message is be united despite our challenges. I will finish by a quotation. According to David Walker, leadership is building a bridge that connects the vision with the purpose in order to empower those who want and be around us. And this quotation is very important for all of us because thanks to your different bricks, you have built a big bridge that connects between us. Thank you for your listening. So our meeting is divided in 3 parts: the prepared speech, evaluation, and around that 2 parts, we have technical rules. So I will start by introduced by our toast, Nzinga. Nzinga is a Toastmasters since 2016. She's from Angola. She's very enthusiastic about enhancing her leadership skills and in other within Toastmaster, a professional sphere and also a personal life. Please welcome warmly Nzinga. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Carine. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, often cited as the most referred to African proverb, this emphasizes that while individual work can bring quick results, long-standing achievements require collaboration. Noteworthy, yet a challenge for introverts like I am. Because group interactions can be draining and can make me feel overwhelmed sometimes. Meaning that most often than not, I would bench myself to avoid exposure, conflict, or feeling uncomfortable. When I didn't bench myself because I was voluntold, at the end, I would tick done and go back to a quiet space. Of course, this impacted my own development, my own growth, and those who reached out for me often didn't get the support they were expecting. That's why I joined Leadership Speak. Networking, interactions, supercharged with guidance on how to perform role, support by training, mentoring, and also feedback. Bridge into my regular life, I now feel more comfortable and confident in engaging with others, in promoting events where I don't stand up and try to do everything on my own to avoid interacting with others, but instead introducing people to each other, telling them the expectations, providing instructions, and afterwards enjoying the achievement and continue with further networking. So, my dear friends, the same way a bird cannot fly with one wing, leaders need team and must connect through meaningful networking. Ladies and gentlemen, unmute yourself, switch on your videos, and join me raising a toast to leveraging leadership connections.
Leveraging
connections.
Cheers.
Yes.
Back to you, Carine.
Thank you, Nzinga, for this powerful toast. Let's continue with our timer. Gada, can you introduce your role today?
Good day. Sorry. Good day, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Ghada, your timer for today. I shall time you according to the times on the agenda. After each session, I shall post them in the chat box. Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Rada, for your brief introduction. Well, let's continue with our grammarian, John Rejefo. Please, can you share with us the word of the day?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, the word of the day for today is trust, which means to place confidence in or rely on someone or something. An example in a sentence is, we grow and flourish in this club because we trust and support each other. When called upon during the meeting, I will give the usage of the word of the day, as well as all outstanding quotes, sayings, thoughts, as well as any inappropriate word or usage during the speech that any speaker utters. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, John, for sharing the word. I encourage you, all of you, to use trust. I trust in you in different sentences, speeches, evaluations. After this part dedicated to introduce each technical word, we are entering in the prepared speech. Our first speaker, as a leadership speak, will deliver an education session. Anna is delighted to share this part, and she will be evaluated by Sandra. Sandra, can you please share with us the objective and the pathway?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I trust that I'm getting to go through this properly. The purpose of Hannah's speech today is to prepare and develop a longer speech, a keynote speech, and that gives us a chance to really get past that 5 to 7 minutes, get to 18 to 22 minutes with meaningful content and concluding with an audience call to action. Look forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you, Sandra. Hannah wants to share in her speech In a world filled with barriers, we must choose to build connections instead. Our message is simple. Let's build bridges, not walls. Anna Schmidt, walls separate, bridges connect. Walls separate, bridges connect. Anna Schmidt.
When you reflect on a time, or when I also reflect on a time, when we face challenging situations, did we respond by putting up walls and distancing ourselves from others? Or did we build bridges that connect? Walls rise to separate, but bridges connect those who refuse to be separated. Madam Toastmaster. Building bridges encourages us to be bold, think proactively, and inspire genuine actions. This transcends metaphor. It is a call to action that challenges our courage and vision. By a show of hands, who of you have heard about the Great Wall of China? Let me see your hands. Good, thank you. This Great Wall of China is an extensive network of walls and fortifications that stretches across northern China. It's not a single continuous structure, but a series of walls, fortifications, and watchtowers constructed by various dynasties over many centuries. Its purpose was mainly to serve as a defense and to protect and separate it from invasions and raids. Today, it is a popular tourist attraction. Another show of hands. Who have heard about the Great Green Wall of Africa? Millennia later, an ambitious Great Wall of Africa is steadily taking shape, stretching from Djibouti in the east, right through Africa to Senegal in the west. This extensive reforestation and land restoration initiative aims to create a living barrier between the Sahara Desert and the countries along the southern border called the Sahel, where 500 million people try to survive. A study in 2018, that's 5 years ago, the study found that the Sahara Desert has expanded by 10% since 1920. And this is equivalent to the land area combined by Germany, Great Britain, Norway, Ireland, Cuba, and Denmark. That Green Wall of Africa aims to restore 100 million, and I repeat, 100 million hectares of land across the Sahel. They want to finish by 2030. This green wall symbolizes a different type of separation, stemming from an enduring threat, desertification. 20 countries work together in establishing a 15-kilometer wide and an 8,000-kilometer long barrier of green corridors across the continent, primarily through the planting of trees and the restoration of degraded land. This initiative also claims to tackle the challenges of climate change and environmental issues. It will also influence global climate by capturing the atmospheric carbon and producing oxygen. Both these walls exemplify strong examples of separation. How does this relate to Toastmasters? We build bridges connecting people to demonstrate our capacity for unity, understanding, and progress. Although we come from various backgrounds, we connect through common passion for improving our speaking and leadership skills. Whenever we provide or receive feedback or collaborate on a speech, we create bridges of support and encouragement. To us, Toastmasters, walls symbolize barriers, whether internally or externally, in our relationships with others. They are evident in our communication, in our growth, and in our collaboration. These walls also illustrate the invisible barrier in our minds that hinder us from embracing new ideas and recognizing our full potential. These barriers form emotionally and mentally as we strive to protect ourselves, preventing us from learning, growing, and connecting with others. How do we overcome this, or how did we overcome it? A century ago, Dr. Ralph Schmidt of Toastmasters started breaking down barriers to establish a supportive environment with a mission statement. And this occurs in 149 countries worldwide, where members showcase their ability to connect across diverse backgrounds by uniting through a shared passion for improving our communication and leadership skills. Our Toastmaster journeys always begin with that spark, that first prick, a leap into untapped potential, where dreams blossom into confidence, fears fade, barriers disappear, and self-doubt transforms into strength. The true magic of building bridges lies in forging meaningful connections and stepping into the spotlight with fearless empathy, heartfelt storytelling, and inspiring leadership that bring the people together. For many, these connections spark a profound transformation, empowering us to overcome personal challenges such as fear of public speaking. Members of Leadership Speak, representing 29 countries, create a supportive and encouraging environment where individuals gradually conquer their fears and dismantle the barriers by regular speaking opportunities in a supportive and inclusive environment that helps us build connections among members through our experience. Receiving constructive feedback and evaluations from peers and mentors enhances delivery, structure, and confidence. Building self-confidence through consistent practice, positive reinforcement, and focusing on personal growth is essential. And I specifically refer to our Tuesday coaching sessions, where we regularly practice our speeches as extraordinariness, receive a round-robin evaluation, and most of all, gain that self-confidence and exceptional coaching from our expert, Brahm. Participating in these Tuesday meetings allows us to develop strong communication skills, enabling us to express ourselves more effectively in both professional and personal settings. Whenever we provide or receive feedback or collaborate a speech, we construct bridges and support encouragement. Another fast forward. How have I grown by building my bridge? Let me tell you my story. When faced with challenges, I confronted them head on. If there's a barrier or a wall, I strive to break through with all my strength. I just overlooked, maybe intentionally ignored the easy route. With determination, I pushed through. And today, I now stand on the leadership bridge, connecting people. But how did I come here? Let me tell you my story. Brick by brick, I have built, and I still continue to build this bridge while resisting the temptation of being too spontaneous, too conditioned, and excessively automatic. At the start of my Toastmasters journey, I was spontaneous, often reacting without much thought, unrefined, and, at times, very candid. I embraced the spontaneity, often speaking before considering my words. However, this occasionally lent a unique charm to my interactions. Call it raw charisma. Joining Leadership Speak has given me invaluable insights into roles and responsibilities and the true power of listening. Rather than rushing to conclusions or reacting impulsively, I've learned to pause, to reflect, and listen to others. This shift has significantly enhanced my communication and problem-solving skills and has boosted my confidence when facing challenges. I navigate complex roles with responsibility, with greater clarity and effectiveness by embracing diverse perspectives and responding thoughtfully. Over time, my involvement with Toastmasters transitioned from a leadership opportunity to a profound sense of obligation. I felt compelled to serve. What was once a passion of leadership has transformed into an almost instinctive commitment, driven by a purpose rather than mere obligation. In my pursuit to becoming a true leader, I have drifted away from my authentic self. Leadership Speak, again, has taught me to serve, engage with others, and create opportunities. And as a former vice president of membership, I have developed responsiveness, reliability, and a strong communication skills, which enhance my ability to connect and support the members. By overcoming conditioned limitations, breaking away that cycle of self-doubt, and seeking validations, I now lead with authenticity, purpose, and a renewed passion that aligns with my values. At Leadership Speak, I have learned to build my bridge, guiding me from being a beginner to becoming a confident and successful speaker who communicates with clarity, purpose, and impact, and recognizes when to lead and when to step back. The days of delivering speeches automatically are over. Reflecting on my past speeches, I realize how disorganized and scattered they were, lacking real structure and focus. I spoke on autopilot, automatically and quickly, yet ultimately I missed the mark in building genuine connections and delivering authentic, meaningful messages. Critical thinking, that was not on my agenda. Delivering speeches now has made me a confident and taught me that genuine communications includes crafting powerful messages, connecting authentically, speaking with clarity, conviction, and credibility. This encourages me to step outside of my comfort zone. Every speech offers an opportunity to inspire, influence, and create lasting impressions. Fact-checking the many statements I encounter daily on Facebook and any other social media platforms has become an essential practice. I now distinguish between the truth and misinformation before accepting or sharing any information. Is this a fact or is this a fake? Ladies and gentlemen, we frequently hear about these walls between people, ideas, and cultures, walls that divide us, creating barriers and misunderstandings. Instead of constructing walls, we build bridges that unite and foster collaboration, understanding, and growth. And Toastmasters is an excellent example on how to build these connections. Although we come from diverse backgrounds, we unite through a shared passion for enhancing our speaking and leadership skills. Every time we provide feedback or collaborate on a speech, we create bridges of support and encouragement. We establish pathways to promote fun, understanding, and cooperation. We trust by embracing empathy, listening attentively, and discovering common ground. Yet, like any impressive structure, constructing bridges to connect people necessitates several essential elements. And leadership members have that vision, that service, and that connection that inspire and create opportunities. A vision. A bridge takes shape when a leader possesses that vision to see potential of uniting both sides. As leaders and communicators equipped with a vision, we have the foresight to see the possibilities in every conversation and leadership. Now, no matter how challenging these circumstances, we believe a meaningful connection is always within reach. Service. Building bridges of service isn't always easy, but it's one of the most powerful ways to unite people and create a lasting change. It often requires stepping beyond what feels comfortable or familiar and taking that courageous step towards many who think, act, or believe differently from others. What about the connections? When we serve, we break down barriers, foster understanding, and create stronger and compassionate connections. Building bridges and creating meaningful connections requires consistency, kindness, and resilience. By breaking down barriers, we bring people together. We lay the groundwork for a future, for an extraordinary future. The next time you encounter conflict or a challenge, ask yourself, are we building a bridge or are we building a wall? These bridges we build today create the foundation for a more connected and compassionate future. Now is the time to embrace that bold vision that we offer selfless service and nurture that powerful connection. Remember, walls separate, bridges connect. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, let us build the leadership bridge connecting people. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Hannah, for this interesting, meaningful keynote about Leadership Bridge. We learn a lot from you and very inspiring. Thank you for that, Hannah. Let's move on the first speaker, Alfin Abrar, evaluated by Jessica Mataba. Jessica, can you share with us his pathway and his objective, please?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Today, I'm evaluating Alfin Abrar, and the purpose of his speech is for him to learn about different communication styles and identify his own. Or he can share about how his communication style has impacted on others. When I had a conversation with Alfin, he asked me to have a look at his storytelling effectiveness. So that's what I'm going to be looking at as well. And the title of his speech is The Easiest Escape. The Easiest Escape, Alfin Abrar, The Easiest Escape. Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Jessica. Congratulations to Alfin for getting your certification as a DTM. This is a huge, important event for you. Thank you for this important work you get it. And Alfin Abrar, the easiest escape. The easiest escape. Alfin Abrar, the floor is yours.
Fellow Toastmasters, in our club meeting, how long do we speak? Usually 5 to 7 minutes, or the longest can be 18 to 22 minutes, like Hannah did. And last Sunday, I had a chance to deliver a speech in 2 hours. We were conducting a professional public speaking for a public audience. And 1 week before the event, I noticed that the registration is only 2. We expect at least we have 15, but Monday only 2. How do you feel if you were me? I thought about the easiest escape is to postpone it. Let's reschedule it. Let's cancel it. Whenever I face a big challenge that it seems impossible to solve, most of the time I tend to reschedule, procrastinate, whatever to cancel it. But one person on my team, the PR manager, Donna, said, we have 5 days left. Can we have 4 people per day? That ignite the motivation in our team. Seeing the positive things in every situation. And that also inspire my communication style is to always see positive things whatever happen. Yes, let's do everything. Let's broadcast our event. Let's message every guest that attend to our club meeting, etc. And by Tuesday, we have 7 participants, adding 5. And by Wednesday, we have 13. And finally, at the D-Day, we have 30 participants, beyond expected. So it's very important to see always positive things, whatever happened. We did solve the participants' issue, but I am as the main trainer. I was about to forget to prepare my own speech. I only have 1 day left to prepare everything. At that day, my wife sick, me also sick. But again, to see things positively, what can I do in this limited time? Talking in 2 hours, I cannot prepare everything, I cannot draft everything. What comes to my mind is to list stories as many as possible. So whatever happens, I can share stories. At the D-Day, I still getting sick. And I drink my medicine, I drink a cup of coffee, my adrenaline is boosting up. Okay, Alfin, let's do this. As I learned in Toastmasters, we learn to do mistake. We face mistake very often. And as a Toastmasters, and that day, I'm officially as Distinguished Toastmaster, I have to believe in myself. Distinguished Toastmasters is not a status. If it is a status, people have to admit me. I am Distinguished Toastmasters. It is not just a status. It is beyond that. It is a role. We do things, it made us as a Distinguished Toastmaster. Another example, I am husband. I'm a husband, my wife, you have to respect me. It doesn't work like that. I have to take all the responsibilities, all the issues, I have to take everything, and then they know I'm the leader. So as the face of the trainer, I take all the responsibilities, the attendance issue, the materials issue, everything. I come early on the events, and then I deliver the training. And the result is fantastic. I asked some people, do you enjoy my training? Yes. And they want to know more about Toastmasters. And this brings a new inspiration for me to spread to all Toastmaster members to have your own public audience platform. For example, you have your club meeting Toastmasters. I want you to have your own public audience also. So you can apply what you learn in Toastmasters to this public audience. And I say this to all my members, hey, let's do things beyond Toastmasters. We learn in Toastmasters and we apply it to public audience. So that's what I say to all my members. And hope it can solve any membership issue, any club growth issue, and we can have more leaders and more public speakers. Whatever issue happen, my communication style is always see positive things. Look on the opportunity rather than setback, because we can always see the good things and we can also think the bad things. It is on us, the decision. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are already in Toastmasters meeting, I challenge you to make your general audience platform so you can apply your knowledge to your platform. And whenever you want to learn more, back to Toastmasters. Because outside there are many people who want to learn about just a fundamental of public speaking. You can pick the level 1 of any pathway, icebreaker, writing speech with purpose, vocabulary, body language. It is already a fundamental and many demands on that. We are public speaker, we learn public speaking here, and we applied it outside of Toastmasters. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Alfin, for sharing your personal experience. Despite your challenges, you have overcome a lot of difficulties, and that shows your resilience. Thank you. Let's move on with our second speaker, Renan Ercilla. He will be evaluated by Gilda. Thank you, Gilda, sorry, and to accept this role at last minute. Gilda, can you share with us his pathway and his objectives?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Renan is doing effective coaching pathway level 1, first speech, which is deliver a speech on any topic and receive feedback. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Renan Ercilla, adjusting to the rhythm of the night. Adjusting to the rhythm of the night, Renan Ercilla.
Have you ever worked or experienced to work at night shift? We know that working at night is very different during the day work. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, I'm working at night for 9 consecutive years already. That's why I can communicate to people in different parts of the world, at least even the separation of time is 12 or 13 hours. In fact, the time here now is 10:16 in the evening. During my first year, I always feel sleepy, even though I have a complete sleep during the day. This is the feeling of the people working at night in the business process outsourcing or BPO, especially if you are in the graveyard shift. Others said it is okay to adjust and you need only to make your day like a night. But not the same case for everyone, especially with me. I am really a morning person back then. Before, I used to sleep at 8 in the evening and wake up 4 or 5 in the morning. But everything changed when I started working in the BPO 9 years ago. Especially my sleeping pattern has changed, especially time of eating, my lifestyle, and I have a different set of friends now. It was very challenging my time during my first year in the BPO as I have to work from 7 in the evening until 4 in the morning. And I always feel sleepy. There was a time that I accidentally fell asleep during the meeting. I still remember that time because I only had 4 hours of sleep on that day, and the people in the operations, the managers, escalated the HR on site because the HR is sleeping during the meeting inside the conference room. But I was forgiven by our HR director because I was only months tenure that time. I told to myself if I am in the right company or industry that works at night. And I thought so many times to resign and look for a traditional company again with a schedule that works 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon or 9 in the morning until 6 in the evening. But instead of resorting to resignation, I endured it as a challenge to myself because if I am going to change or transfer from one company to another in the morning shift, I couldn't earn enough what I earn right now in the BPO that can support my family. So I decided to stay and I fell in love with what I am doing at night, doing HR works at night. It was not an easy journey and change because it disrupted my sleeping pattern as a morning person and behavior. But I started to change little by little. If I did not have enough sleep before. During the day, I used to drink coffee because if I did not drink a coffee, I will fall asleep, definitely. So I don't have a choice but to stay awake because I'm working. I usually eat ice cream back then and any sweetened food at night to keep my energy level high. I know it's not healthy. In fact, I felt during my first year in the BPO sim that I worked already 2 to 3 years. I became chubby and even my long sleeves did not fit to me anymore after 1 year. But now it fits to me. After 1 year or more than 1 year, I felt that my body was already adjusted in the rhythm of the night. I stopped little by little eating all those unhealthy food and started eating again healthy food and make sure that I do not eat a lot at night, especially carbohydrates. And I consulted also with my doctor to seek for a healthy routine. And I was advised to give time for exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week to help me release some stress and avoid unhealthy food because high level of sugar, my doctor said it could kill you little by little. Fellow Toastmasters, yes, I believe because of my determination and love for what I am doing, it made me stay in the BPO and I excelled now to my career. Adjusting to a night shift lifestyle is challenging, but with time and consistency, it becomes second nature. It changes not just our sleeping patterns, but our entire routine when we eat, socialize, and find energy. However, this shift or change teaches us resilience, adaptability, and the importance of maintaining a healthy balance. Whether we work during the day or night, what truly matters is how we will manage our time, health, and well-being. In the end, success is not about when we work, but how we make the time, most of it. That's all. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Renan, for sharing your personal experience in terms of habits, routine, healthy aspects. Let's continue with our third speaker, Luciano Joao. It will be evaluated by Nicole White. Nicole, can you share with us his pathway and his objectives?
Right. Greetings, everyone. Just give me 1 second. Madam Toastmaster Carine, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Today, Luciano will be speaking from Leadership Development Level 5 Project Number 2, Lessons Learned. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about and apply the skills needed to run a lessons learned meeting during a project or after its completion. The purpose of this speech is for Luciano to share some aspects of his leadership experience and the impact of a lessons learned meeting. Luciano and I connected. He would like me to focus on vocal variety and body language, and as he'd like to match both. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Luciano Joao, learning process. Luciano Joao.
one of the fastest ways to build confidence. It's through learning. Once we learn, we can build confidence. That's what I found out. Today, I'm going to speak about learning process. What's learning at the end of the day? What do we utilize learning for? Learning is something that we do and brings us trust. Not only trust ourselves, but others enable others to trust us. Learning is the acquiring of new skill. Once you acquire a new skill, you are learning, acquiring new abilities. What you didn't have before, now you have it. So that's learning. New attitude, that's learning. But that happens once you observe and you change your behavior. You observe and you change your behavior. That's a learning process, which is extremely important. When it comes to learning, there are many aspects that one can focus on. And you have to decide, you have to come up with your own learning process, because each individual learns in its own way. I had to learn that in order to develop. So what I found out sometime is there are three aspects which are extremely important when you're learning. For me, number one was repetition. So repetition, number one. Number two, it's being able to explain to someone else in a simple and easy way. That was aspect number two. Then aspect number three was the ability to calibrate what you've learned with any new knowledge that you come across with. Those three aspects are the formula that I use in order to learn. I used that while I was at university and after I left university and started working. That was extremely important. When it came to repetition, something that I really understood is when I was doing the maths, I was never a good student at high school. But when I went to university, I started doing the same exercises all over again. You do the exercises 3, 4, 5, 10 times. And then what happens is once you do it the first time and when you do it the 10th time, it becomes easier. You become more familiar with it. And at the end of the day, once you see new exercises, you use the pattern that you used to solve the previous exercise. And that's extremely important. That's through repetition. However, once you put repetition together, there's the second aspect that I use, which is explaining to other individuals in an easy way so that they can understand. An example of that, while I was at university, I was studying maths, and we used to do the sine and cosine graphs. And there were multiple groups. We studied together in groups. You had the maths group, science, and chemistry group. I was the leader of the maths group because I could teach other individuals how to do the sine and cosine graphs. And by doing that, I was able to explain to other individuals how to do that, how to do the sine and cosine graphs. And that became easier for me. I was learning in the process, and I found ways to make it simple for them to understand. And that was a learning process for me also. You teach people and you learn also in process. And aspect number three is to calibrate the knowledge. So everything that I was learning, I had to calibrate with any new knowledge that I got. So in the learning process, you can never stay stuck with the knowledge that you have, because there's new knowledge that's being developed every second, and you have to keep up. And in order for you to keep up, you have to know how to use what you have, and all the new knowledge that's coming in. How do you utilize that? So you calibrate what you have and any new knowledge that's coming in. And an example of that is simple. Recently, I was reading a book by Jim Quick, Unlimited. And one of his topics when it comes to learning that he explained in his book was through familiarization. So something you learn now, try to attach that to something that you already have in your mind. An example of that is names. Sometimes we forget people's names. Haven't you ever forgot people's names? Raise your hand if you have. I always forget people's names that I knew. Now, but I'm utilizing that technique where when I know someone's name, I'm gonna store that, relate that to something I know. It's either place or another person with that name. And that's a part of a learning process that I utilize. And it's extremely important. Once you develop your own learning process, as a consequence of that, you build confidence in yourself. You know what happens when you have confidence? Do you know what happens when you have confidence in your life? Do you have confidence in the workplace that you know you have the ability to do more? What happens to you? How do you feel? What's the trust that you generate once you build that through that learning process? It's extremely important for us to work on a learning process. So build your learning process. Build your own learning process. And don't forget to calibrate that, what you know, with what new knowledge comes into place. By only doing that, building your learning process, you build your confidence. Building your confidence, you are able to do more. You are able to achieve your goals in every single area of your life. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Luciano, for sharing your useful right in your personal professional life. Thank you for that. Let's continue with our fourth speaker, Brahm. He will be evaluated by Baron Ercilla. Can you please share his pathway and his objective, please, Baron?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. I am delighted to be evaluating our quintessential president. He's going to deliver from the Visionary Communication Pathway, and it is a project under the using visual aids. In today's session, I'm specifically going to focus on Toastmaster Brahm's use of the visual aids. How effective are they? How do they add to the speech? And how do they engage rather than take away or basically add value to the presentation? So it's going to be, once again, under the visionary communication path, and it is effective use of visual aids. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Baron. Memone, 3 mindsets that grind you to a complete halt. 3 mindsets that bring you to a complete halt, Memone.
Thank you. And our Toastmaster of the Day is quite right. There's 3 mindsets that grind you to a complete halt. And what are those 3 mindsets? And I find that those 3 mindsets actually stack on one top of the other and build a huge wall. So let's have a look at those 3 different mindsets that come sometimes together and brings a lot of people to a halt. Now, this is from my experience, not only in Toastmasters over the past 28 years, but also as a coach over the past 31 years and living on 3 different continents. And so I bring my experience and my observation of the world rather than having read this somewhere. Now, what are these 3 things, ladies and gentlemen? So here they are. And you would all agree with me that You're all busy. How many of you here are not busy and waiting for something to happen? Right? Nobody is waiting here for something to happen. You are all very busy, and so am I. Our lives are filled with busyness. However, if we are not careful about what we are busy about, we will not get to the goal. And I will go into that a little bit. The other thing is the contingent mindset. And the third one, the risk-averse mindset. And when these things are present, we feel like as if the clock, the life is pulling us back and we want to go forward, but we can't move in the right direction. Let's go and have a look at this. What do I mean by all these mindsets, or how we are framing the world and how we are looking at the world and the filters through which we are communicating into the world? Now, of course, we are in Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmasters club, where we begin to learn how to avoid these traps and to go beyond them to become an effective presenter, speaker, trainer, coach, whatever it is that you're working on. The busy mindset is the biggest downfall of anyone doing anything great and big. Be it in Toastmasters, be it in organizations, be it in your community, in your families, wherever it is, to follow the direction and the goal that you want to go. We are always too busy to do anything. When people in an organization, especially in Toastmasters, let's come back to Toastmasters. Somebody's supposed to do a project and they have a deadline. And by the time the deadline arrives and you ask them what happened, they have an explanation or an excuse. I was very busy. But like I began, everyone is very busy. There's an illusion of productivity. Here's the thing, when I work in large organizations and we gather in the kitchen or around the water cooler and the conversation is, hey, John, how are you doing? Hey, John. Don't even bother. I'm very, very busy. I need to get a quick cup of coffee and get back to my desk. And I have to get this report done. And I'll be here working until 8 o'clock tonight. Sounds typical? Yes, right? And then, of course, there's always this, people are wearing this badge of honor. I'm busy. It's like a badge of honor. And when you wear a badge of honor, like I'm busy, then you will feel like you're busy and you're not being productive. It's an illusion to productivity. People talk to each other through a veil and a filter of being busy. And therefore, they don't connect with each other. They don't connect with the projects that they want to do. They are running from one place to another place to another place continuously, and they never get anything done ever. That's the busy mindset. It's an illusion. And we wear it as if, I'm busy. See, I'm very busy. I'm working tonight until the 12 midnight, and I have to get up at 5 o'clock, and I have to go rush up to the office very early, and I'll be there at 6 o'clock, and I'll be sitting at my desk and present this report to my boss. He'll be coming in at 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness. Familiar? In large organizations, I see that all the time. I see people being so busy, they wear that badge of honor, I'm busy. And it adds nothing to their life. They're just running around on the rat race. And they don't have their priorities in place. And therefore, we have reasons and excuses of what we are doing. Excuses like, I'm too tired, I'm too busy. And reasons like, there was lots of traffic and I couldn't get to where I needed to go. And it was midnight and I was tired and I couldn't do the project. And in Toastmasters, I was just busy. I had an area contest over there. I'm the president of this club over here. I had too many things at work. I was called away to do this. There was no power. There's no light. The reasons and excuses of not having done anything. And we're always busy running around doing something. I'll come to the solution in a second, but let's look at the second mindset. See, we are building walls. We are always building walls. As soon as you tell somebody I'm busy, this is what you've done. You built a wall. This is the first stake in the wall. The bottom line, the foundation of everything that you are not able to do. You're building a foundation of a life where you don't get anything done, you're not productive, and you're not effective. The second step is the contingent mindset. Now, what do I mean by the contingent mindset? You're wondering, contingent? Risk? The contingent mindset is the contingency. If this condition exists, then I will be able to do that. If I had more money, then I could spend, on my education. If I had more time, then I would be able to do this. There's only 24 hours in a day, so I can't do this, which stems from being busy. So the being busy is the foundation. And then on top of that, if then occurs, and there's so many different reasons of if then occurs, if I had a bigger house, if I lived nearer to work, and so on and so forth. There's so many, if only I had this, then I would do this. We are doing what? We are trying to line the ducks in a row, or when you start from home and you want to go to you want to go to the office, for example, or you want to go somewhere, and you're expecting every light to be green, and you will not meet every traffic light that is green. You will meet some red lights too. And then you get to a red light and you get frustrated. Oh my goodness. And then you take off when the light comes green. You hit the pedal, right? Intensity. You go into an intense mode. And intensity doesn't help. And I'll come to that as well. Keep that in mind. Write the note down. Don't be intense. The belief that you need to be perfect and the perfect conditions to start before you begin anything, that every light should be green, that all the ducks are lined in a row, is a myth. You will never have everything in place before you start. And therefore, you have reasons and excuses of staying still and not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Have you ever done that? If only I had this, especially if I had more time. So you can see how the stake is building. This is the second level of the wall that you're building. Next, the risk-averse mindset, where we are afraid to take a risk. The fear of the unknown. When we first join Toastmasters and you see a speaker that is very proficient and you say, how can this speaker speak like this? And I'm like, I can't even stand up. I'm like shaking in my shoes. How am I going to do this? See the question? You ask the question, how am I going to do this? Whenever you ask the question, how am I going to do this? You have stopped yourself, because you will never know everything when you start. It is the trap. And then you begin to have the reasons and excuses of why you can't start, because you need to know everything before you start. Martin Luther King Jr. said this famously, and I paraphrase the quote. He said, take the first step on the staircase. You don't know what's up on the staircase. Suppose the room is completely dark, there is no lights, and everyone in Kenya knows that. KPL sometimes switches off all the power, there's no power, and you're in total darkness. But you have to get up to the top of the stairs. Would you? Yes, you would. You have to take the first step, and then the second step, and the third step, slowly and consistently till you reach the top. You don't know what's at the top. Or it's like walking in a fog, right? When you walk in a fog, what happens? You can perhaps see 2 meters ahead, 5 meters, maybe 10. You don't see beyond. Maybe there's a cliff. Maybe you'll fall over. You don't know. But if you don't move, you'll never know. You'll never find your way. You will never see clearly everything, ever. When Steve Jobs started Apple Computer in a garage with Steve Wozniak and a third partner, and they built the very first tiny little thing, and it was encased in a wooden box. They didn't know it was going to be a $3 trillion company. They didn't say, we will not start this thing until we know exactly how a $3 trillion market capitalization company can become the world's biggest company. we are not going to start doing anything. They put aside time. They were not busy. Were they busy? Perhaps. But they put aside time and created something. They didn't know all the ducks in a row and where this would lead to, but they did create shareholders, right? The three of them each owned 1/3 of the shares. And then when they had a good product, they brought in investors and built the finest computers on the planet, and it was the very first company to become a $3 trillion company eventually 40 years later. Did they see that when they first began? No. I rest my case. So it is, how do we get over the reasons and excuses? And as our previous speaker has said, a learning plan is great. Luciano, thank you. Now, this is, of course, the third stack in your wall. So what have you done, ladies and gentlemen? The stack that we've built, our busyness, and on top of that, we put in, we need perfect conditions, and on top of that, we have that uncertainty. How am I going to do this? You'll never know how you're going to do that until you begin and take the first step. And so we stand there. How am I going to go over this wall? All you've done is you've built the wall. Nobody else built the wall. You have built it. It's in there. And how you see life and how you react to life, that's what's going on. And if you have built the wall, then you can take down the wall. I can't take down that wall for you. Nobody can take down that wall for you. We can coach you and mentor you to make you see the obstacles you've created. And we can show you how to get over the obstacles, but you have to then take that hammer and chisel and break open this wall. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to break open the wall or get over it somehow. Here are a few things on how to do that. Begin to have micro habits. See, micro habits are so important. Thank you, Luciano, for doing that presentation before me. And that's what he was talking about, right? The learning and how you plan and the habits that you got to instill in yourself to be able to think differently and change your perspectives of life and begin to prioritize on things. Taking an initiative on anything is so hard, because when you want to start anything, it needs a lot of energy. Right? It's like pushing a car or pushing anything. When it is standing still, you need a lot of energy to push it. But once it starts to roll, which is consistency, then you need less energy to push it. Would you agree? Hands up if you agree. Right? Yeah, you agree that? So consistency is the key. Taking the initiative is very, very hard, and people are standing still because they don't know how to take initiative. And because it needs a lot of energy, it needs a lot of time to plan, prepare. Sounds familiar, right? Your speeches, plan, prepare, practice, and then present. And I did plan, prepare, and practice this before coming here today. And so consistency is very, very important to get this car moving, right? And once you're consistent, boom, off it goes, and you're on your way. But this is where people get stuck: initiative and the energy, and ask, and then going beyond those reasons and excuses that you have. So here's what you could do if you are very, very busy all the time. We all are very busy. I'm busy. What should we do, ladies and gentlemen, when we're all very busy? Here's the antidote to being very busy. Simplify your life. Let go of things that don't add to you in the direction that you want to go in. Do you know the direction you want to go in? How many of you know the direction you want to go in? Anyone here have goals? Anyone here have a purpose in life? Everyone knows where they need to go to and head towards. If you're in leadership speak, you need to know that. And so if you're going to spend 1 or 2 hours, hopefully more, but at least a couple of hours every week on your presentation skills, on your leadership skills. That's why you are in this education organization. You'll have to let go of things that don't add to your day. See, before you joined a Toastmasters club, before you joined Leadership Speak, your 24 hours were all filled with something. And then you took on Leadership Speak on top of it. That means you need to let go of something that doesn't add to your life so that you can fit in Leadership Speak. So you have to have a list, a don't do list, things that you will not do, and prioritize high impact activities instead so that you can go in the direction that you need to go in. The contingent mindset. If lining everything in order, all the ducks in a line, all lights green before you start out, it's never going to happen. So what you got to do is stop waiting and start now. Start now, today, this moment. Make up your mind, commit to, I'm going to do something about my life and I will reach the goal that I have. So I have that goal and take that first step. That is where initiative begins, and initiative ends up in action, consistent action. And the risk-averse mindset, ladies and gentlemen, the antidote is simply this. Focus on the why and the what, not the how. How will I do this? It'll stop you in your tracks because you don't know. Once you commit to something, providence takes over. You take the first steps and you begin to move forward. Providence takes over. People will show up. Opportunities will show up. Things will begin to appear in your life because now you're focusing on the right thing. Whatever you focus on, you begin to see more clearly. And you will begin to figure out the how as you go along. And therefore, once you take the initiative and you begin and become consistent in your speaking, in your presentation, in your planning, preparing, and practicing, you become very proficient in what you do. And in summary, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, what does productivity mean to you? Are you busy? Or are you being productive? Stop glorifying busyness and focus on the impact that you're making. Start living your unlived life. Don't wait for all the ducks to line up in a row. Stop waiting for that perfect condition and start now. Your dream life awaits you, because once you keep moving and you start moving, you will reach your goal, and then you'll create bigger goals after that. Stop fearing uncertainty and keep moving, ladies and gentlemen. Do it now. This wall shouldn't exist in your life. Let's break it down. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brahm, for this incredible presentation. Also, have you used different visual slides in order to be more impactful? Thank you for that. I will ask our timer, Ada, if you can share your time report in the chat box. And after that, our Zoom master to share the poll, if you can launch a poll to vote for the best effort speaker. You have between 15 and 30 seconds to vote. Thank you. So we are entering the second part of our meeting, the evaluation. I will ask our general evaluator, Leya, to introduce each evaluator to share that feedback. The floor is yours, Leya.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And as you have stated, we have now entered the evaluations part of our meeting. So this is just the opportunity for all the speakers, all the people who have presented today to receive feedback on their presentation. And since obviously this is Leadership Speak, we want to say that all our evaluators will have applied some critical thinking in that evaluation, as they will be giving that feedback, just so that to show that slight difference, because this is indeed an advanced club. So definitely looking forward to the feedback, and I trust that all the people here on this Zoom call will benefit from this session of the meeting. So I would like to invite our first evaluator who will be evaluating the toast, and that is Ercilla. Joseph, if you could please come and give us the evaluation of the toast.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Toastmaster Jase, you introduce, for your toast, you introduce with a captivated proverb that was great, that set the tone for your toast. And then you use your personal experience to show to the audience the importance of connection, the impact that connection had on you as an introvert person. You talk as well about different aspects of connection between leaders, like networking, interaction, mentoring, feedback, and so on. You have shown and explained how you have become more open and have encouraged us to do the same. You emphasized on the fact that a leader needs team. For the raising of the glasses, you have invited the audience to open camera and microphone in order to raise a toast on leveraging leadership connection, and have allowed sometimes to the audience to participate with you in raising the toast. What I would like you to pay attention the next time for your presentation is your Zoom presence. You were a little bit too close of the camera so that it was not easy for us as audience to appreciate your hand gestures. The only thing that we could see was your head moving here and there. Next time you can put the camera a little further so that we can appreciate your body language. And during our conversation during the week, you have asked me to pay attention to your hesitation. For that as well, you can work on that. When you have the lead, take some seconds to breathe. That will really help you control your hesitation and your stress. Because when you had the lead, you start right away. Control your hesitation and stress. Took some seconds, at least 5 seconds, breathe, and then start with your speech. That's all great toast. And I really like your smiling. You keep smiling. It was really impactful on your speech. Congratulations. I give back the letter to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Ercilla, for that evaluation, and indeed for also stressing the importance of the Zoom presence, since all our meetings are online. And this is our stage, so we have to ensure indeed that we utilize it effectively. And also thank you so much for noting about the importance of breathing or pauses as we are giving speech, as we present our speeches. We'll then move on to our next evaluator, and that is our evaluator for the Toastmaster of the day. Oh, there she is. Goda, thank you so much. You can please give us the evaluation for our Toastmaster of the day, Carine.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially our Toastmaster of the day, Carine. As I mentioned before, there's always a lot to do to prepare a meeting. You excelled at making sure that the topic was determined way in advance, that the members were added to the group, and that you followed through
during the week. Now, on to the meeting itself. You have a beautiful presence. Know that your presence magnifies. You have a beautiful smile as well. And this is important, especially when you are leading. What you may want to work on, connection, and especially because this is the topic today, connection. Connect with your members to have the correct pronunciation of their names prior to the meeting. Connect with the audience as the meeting is on and you doing what you need to do. Connect with your audience simply by asking a question or two, or invite them to enter their name in the guest book. You have a very gentle voice, and it would be beneficial to use some vocal variety while you speak. I sense that you were perhaps a little bit timid, and you speak a different language, and I could hear it. And one thing that you could use is, from time to time, use a word in French, because that adds something more, and that is something that you already possess. So in summary, you excelled at preparing the meeting, making sure that everything is done to have a great meeting. Work on connecting with the members and the audience. And what I feel that you excel even more, it's your presence, and know that it magnifies. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Gerda, for that evaluation. Definitely very precise in terms of the feedback. I'm sure Carine has been taking notes, and she'll definitely apply them to next time when she takes up the role. Thank you so much for that. We'll then move on to our evaluator for our educational speaker, and that is Sandra, to please give us the evaluation for Hannah.
Thank you. I have to trust Hannah to always deliver. She does deliver. Hannah, you came through with passion and energy, and you came right through Zoom to me. So your Zoom presence is exuding your own energy, and that's super duper. What I liked in particular was you came right into the speech with walls divide and separate and bridges connect. Let us be the ones who refuse to be separated. I want to emphasize just how powerful that particular statement is, because to me, that was your message. That statement needed to be repeated maybe 3 times, brought in every time before you went into the next segment. And again, before you came into your personal stories. And then again, that to me would be the powerful closing. But we'll get back to that in a second. Examples of the Great Wall of China, I loved, because I've got halfway up there. I didn't get to the top. But I had not known about the Great Wall of Africa. So your content really pulled me in, and I expect it pulled everyone in the audience, because who has heard of the Great Green Wall of Africa? And then being able to see how that connected so many countries right across. There again, I think might have been another wonderful analogy, not to just leave that alone at the beginning of the speech, the first half, but to actually say, so the country had to do that. And then when you went into your personal story and how we can build, just like that country, we went into here, and just like that, we went into here. I would refer back to that because the fascinating content was at the beginning, and then you went into your personal area, which was still interesting. But when you went into your personal area, you started to almost sound more like an icebreaker because it was your own personal story. So I did this, I did this, I did this. And there's, I'm sure, a way to come in there and move it from the me to the we. And I think it would be with your very well used rhetorical questions. You're very good at that. So you would be able to say, I did this, 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 this. When did you do that? And your gestures for the walls were wonderful, brought me right into visualization. When you watched the replay to analyze it yourself, when you got to your personal story, you often were back into that pumping action, which is your, what you don't do it nearly as much, but that's your come home to. I really want to congratulate you. I wanted a little stronger call to action for the audience. Instead of remember to build bridges, thank you for, I wanted you to more or less go back to that. Let's refuse to be those separated in that vein. Thank you. Congratulations. GE.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for that definitely detailed evaluation for Hannah. I'm sure even the rest of us have also picked up some stuff that we can also implement. I would like to invite our evaluator for our first speaker, sort of, Jessica. Jessica, if you could please come and give us the evaluation for Alfin's speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. And congratulations to Alfin for your DTM achievement. What I'm going to share is about, I'm going to just divide it into 3 areas. What you excelled at, what you may want to work on, and how to challenge yourself. Alfin, you took us on a journey. You shared a story about the challenges that you experienced and how your positive outlook to life has helped you to change how you perceived what could have been a failure to something that was successful, and you pushed yourselves through that. I loved how you shared all those different experiences, what you learned, what you took forward from that. And you shared about how your positive self-talk and talk with your co-organizer has helped you to move that forward. And then also what I liked is you gave us a call to action. Like as Toastmasters, we need to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone to go and practice with a different audience who don't have any idea about Toastmasters. I thought that was brilliant. And you used fantastic gestures, but what I'm going to just suggest with you is that because you were so close to the screen, we missed out on some of the significance of those gestures because of how close you were to your screen. That takes me to the next point, which is what you may like to work on. Like I said, because to me, it came across as if you are using your phone. And with the phone, you have to be mindful of that when you're too close, then there's too much space. And remember, talking when you're doing your speeches is not only about what you say, but also about the energy that you share. So also another thing is just remember to stand. When you're giving your speech, just stand so that you can use your stage, your virtual stage, effectively, and we can experience that energy as well, because standing gives you a different level of energy. And to challenge yourself, what I would have loved to hear a bit more from you is about sharing how those different communication styles, as outlined in the manual, have helped you in this journey. I would have loved you to articulate that for us so that we can hear that a little bit more. Yes, you've shared about how your positivity has helped, but a little bit more about how, whether you're a direct person, whether you're supportive, are you initiating or you're analytical, how those have helped you in this regard. I would have loved to hear that from you. But all in all, I thought it was a brilliant speech. Like I said, what you needed to work on is just remember to stand, especially as an experienced speaker. Just remember to stand. You give us a different level of energy. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Jessica, for that. And indeed for rounding up your evaluation by even providing that conclusion. Oh, you should always remember an evaluation is also a speech. It has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So thank you so much for that, Jessica. I will then move on to our next evaluator, and that is Gilda, who was evaluating Rena's speech.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Renan, you showed us how to be resilient in the face of challenges by being determined and committed to the task in hand. Thank you. You made it possible for us to understand you could face challenges if you make up your mind, and you did. No secret, you're a morning person. You told us that. Ended up at a night shift work. At some point, you even thought that you should quit your job and get it over with. But no, you were determined to prevail. So you seek help. And you gave us 3 valuable points that leads not only to be able to work at any time of the day, but to lead a healthy life. Stay away from carbohydrate and sugar. Exercise regularly. Stay away from coffee if you want to sleep. That is great takeaway for all of us. I also like how clear your words were. I understood everything, and I'm sure everybody understood every word came out of you. The first half of your speech really was effective. For me, at least, I felt I'm sleepy when you were talking, how sleepy you were at your night shift. To bring your speech to a higher level, your second part of your speech, when you found the tools to be able to be awake at your night shift, I would have liked to see you more enthusiastic because you prevailed. You knew how to work the night shift. So show us more enthusiasm in that. You were ending, or your message says, manage your, it's not when we work, it's how we make the time. I would have liked to hear how effective in what you do. It doesn't matter what time, it's how effective you are at any time. All in all, great speech. If you just take these 2 points at the end, be more energetic at the second part, and your ending, it doesn't matter when you work, it's how effective you are at your work. It would be great. Great speech. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Gilda, for that evaluation. I especially loved the learning points that you noted. I think those are some of the things I'd also noted. I'm sure that Renan will definitely ensure that he implements those. We'll then move on to our next evaluator, and that is Nicole, who was evaluating Luciano's speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Leya, fellow Toastmasters, our distinguished guests, and especially Luciano. Luciano, you began your speech with a relatable statement. You said one of the fastest ways to build confidence is through learning. I believe we are all in agreement with this. You asked me to focus on vocal variety and your body language, and I believe you excelled here. So I will start with a few things I observed that you excelled at. You excelled, as I said, at your body language. When you started out and you showed us with your body language that you will be covering 3 aspects. You did 1, 2, 3, and you positioned it perfectly aligned with in front of the camera, and we were able to see your body language. I believe you used your body language appropriately as well. During your body language as well, I could see confidence. You smiled, and that speaks to the aspect of your personality as well and your comfort level. I commend you here. Second area that I think you excelled at, your eye contact. You looked directly into the camera, you looked at the audience appropriately, and that was well done. Your vocal variety, another important area you asked me to observe. Your vocal variety was well done. Your tone and voice modulations were great. At times, you increased your volume, and you also cemented your points. They were cemented because of how you worked on that pitch, right? The voice modulation. For example, when you said, "Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened?" I could hear the difference in the pitch and their tone and all. So that's great. Third, your speech structure. We were able to follow 3 aspects of the formula you learned. You brought them down explicitly and expounded well. I want to move on to an area of improvement that I would like to talk about. Your pause. During your transitions, because you had a number of transitions. Examples when you said, however, and you shared about your experience teaching your fellow classmates. I believe that you could have slowed down and take us through that transition. An area of a suggestion or challenge you to try to honor your pause and finesse your transitions. For example, in this speech today, when you shared about the book about familiarization, I believe that was a title of your book, and the importance of remembering names, for example, you shared that story, and then you engaged us, or tried to, and you said, "Have you ever forgotten people's names?" I was so drawn in, and I'm sure the audience were. And then you said, "Raise your hand if you have." I thought this was the moment that we could have interacted with you. You did allow us. I think you could have allowed us. I would want to see you ask us whether to put it in the chat or raise our hand virtually or just with our camera open and just engage with us, right? And then you would get a response. So that's an area of suggestion. I give it to you. I believe, in summary, I would say, work on honoring your pauses and your transitions. Keep up your excellent use of body language and vocal variety and your speech structure, and continue to embrace the learning process. Looking forward to future speeches. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for that. Yes, and one thing I'd also picked up from Luciano's speech, we always say in Toastmasters, we like the power of 3. So when you're presenting, you always have like those 3 points. So that was very well executed. We'll now move on to our next evaluator, and that is Baron, who is evaluating our 4th speaker, Brahm.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leya. First things first, I have to note that Brahm's speech was a smooth sail. 15 to 8 minutes, it rather felt like 5 to 7 minutes. I had to reach out to the timer and say, hey, the time doesn't look right. Because it was such a smooth sail, the information was so easily delivered, it was so easy to comprehend, it was right there. I'm going to focus more on the elements of what the project requires rather than the general. And these are about using visual aids, to which you said, will it be effective? Yes, it was effective. Did the presentation, the visual aids add to the presentation? Yes, it did. And finally, did your body cover the presentation? No, it did not. Some other points that you had going for you were the presentation was very clear and not distracting. We didn't have a lot of noise, a lot of background and all that happening. Then you had a remote for the slides in your hand. That means we didn't have to watch you doing this to try and move to the next slide. You also had the walls, the picture of the walls, which we were wondering, where is this going, until we saw the walls stack up and then it all came together. So many good points to speak about, but now it is time for reckoning. Well, I say it on a light note. The points of improvement, the first one is every so often we had your head cut off like this. So this is when you were coming in closer to emphasize on a point. Then a few times as you emphasized, your hands got lost in the background at the bottom here like this, when you were being keen on emphasis. So we might have missed out on that. The next point that I would like to share is, while the presentation was really well put, there were a few points where you could have had more visuals. For example, when you spoke about Steve Jobs' garage, I, for one, have seen the picture of Steve Jobs' garage and feel like that paints a very clear picture of where Apple came from and where Apple is. That would have been an addition. I also think when you say you've been in Toastmasters for 28 years, there could be one photo from at least 20 years ago, from at least 25 years ago of a younger Brahm, well, in a Toastmasters environment, looking like, hey, I'm trying to figure this out, but we would get that just to add to the presentation. Really, I feel like you aced this presentation, and like I said, it was a smooth sail. I had so much fun listening to it and learning from it. The structure that you used in it is highly commendable, where you shared the points, you shared what you're going to share, you went into detail, and then you came back and shared with us what we can do to remedy these mindsets that grind us to a halt. Well executed, and from now on, I am going to do my best to be a visual aid presentation person as well. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Baron, for that. And indeed, even from Brahm's speech, I also noticed the power of 3. And I think, like you also said, I also thought it was 5 to 7 minutes. I was shocked it was an actually extended speech. Yeah, it did move by pretty quickly. We'll then move on to our timer. If you could please share the timing for the evaluators in the chat. And then I would like to invite our grammarian, who I trust has been keeping a good record of the use of English language, to please come to the virtual stage and share with us his report.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The word of the day is trust, and I had it used 6 times. One by Hannah, one by Leya, twice by Sandra, and twice by Luciano. Now, to the outstanding and effective use of words, quotes, saying, and thoughts. Today was a big bonus day, which I enjoyed several. There were numerous outstanding quotes by our speakers. In the interest of time, I'm going just to limit myself to a few of them. And I'm going to start with our toast of the day that was given by Nzinga. starting with the quotes about from Africa. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I thought that was a very beautiful message for us to hear today, and particularly when we are talking about connection. And also had the word voluntold, which is something which you use sometimes again to connect by supporting each other, making people to volunteer. And I think I also have, and then it comes to Anna, I thought that, as Sandra has said, I liked the title of her speech, which is Let's Build Bridges, Not Walls. I thought that was beautiful because she showed everything that like bridges connect those who refuse to be separated. And I thought that was also nice. We build bridges to connect people. Walls symbolize barriers. And she also went on to say about invisible barriers are in our minds. Building bridges of service, building bridges of collaboration and support, which I thought were all very nice. Let me look at the time so that I don't. And I also liked then coming to Renan, high levels. I like the word which says high levels of sugar can kill you little by little, which is something for us to be aware of. And of course, he went on to say, in addition to sugar, caffeine and lack of exercise can gradually kill us. And he said, it is not how, then somebody said, it is not how we build, it is not how we work, it is how we build, how we do the work. Which the evaluator said, Gilda said, it is how well, it is how effective we do the work. There are one or two things that I'm trying to look at the timer, see, to make sure I keep to the time. So
Yes, I'm really sorry. I missed. I thought that I shouldn't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. But there are one or two things that I had that I thought should have been corrected. When Alfin was speaking, said that ignite. I was actually speaking in the past tense, and I thought ignite should have been ignited. Then I also had me also sick, and I thought that should have been I was also sick. I'm a husband. So I thought those could be better language. And that concludes my grammar report. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much for that report in terms of the use of the language and the use of the word of the day. So as indicated, it was used 6 times. I think I did it twice. But anyway, we'll then move on to the next part, which is our trainer. And I'd like to invite Brahm to please come to the virtual stage for that part.
Well, thank you. And we'll wait until I'm spotlighted. But Leya, what do you think of the meeting today?
Oh, yeah, it has been very interesting. Very, very different types of speeches we've heard today. So learned quite a lot even from the evaluations. Yeah, I'm really trying to pay so much attention, trying to get as much information as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for everyone's benefit here, Leya is the Vice President of Membership at our club. And she actually reads 100 books a year or more. But anyways, for today's meeting, ladies and gentlemen, my keen observation is, or not observation, but for the benefit of our guests especially, if you notice the theme is, of course, about connecting people, right? And it's the leadership bridge connecting people. And what happens, and you see on the agenda, if you look at the agenda, you'll see the Toastmaster of the Day's picture and the education speaker's picture, which is Hannah Schmidt. They get to collaborate, and they know that over a month before that they have to collaborate and create a theme that is consistent with leadership in accordance with principles of leadership. And then the Toastmaster of the Day speaks to the theme for about 2 or 3 minutes. That's all they get. And so we have the education speaker speak for about 20 minutes to the theme, a well-researched theme speaking to the theme. So that's what we do in this club. Do we need to enhance that, and are we getting better at doing that? Yes, we are. We are 3 years old just last week, and so we are getting much better at the things that we've put together in this advanced club. It's a club that is based on leadership development, hence the name Leadership Speak. And so if you join the club, you will learn a lot of different things about connecting, collaborating, and leadership skills, and the training and the coaching that's provided before you even come to speak. And so you speak at the next level. Our evaluators are keen observers, and most of our evaluators did a good job, but as a trainer, I do observe still that we need to focus on what was the presentation about. Was it to instruct, inform, motivate, persuade, inspire? That all comes from the writing a speech, and in level 1 actually, where it explains, are you informing, inspiring, persuading, right? And so on, and entertaining. At least 4 of those I mentioned in writing a speech in level 1. And so we emphasize on the evaluator to focus on what did the speaker do? Did he motivate, inspire, and so on? So for example, Baron, I'm going to put you on the hot seat here. When we spoke yesterday, I had asked you to tell me if I motivated, and was it instructional? Because all my speeches are instructional, training. I'm a trainer, so I do training type of speeches to practice my training. So that was one thing that got missed by Baron. So Baron, come back and tell me. I'm sure you've not made the notes, but I didn't hear it. So Baron, what was the speech? Was it motivational, training, informational? What was it?
It was training.
You got that, right? It was instructional.
Yes.
Was it motivational as well, or what was it?
Yes, it was motivational. It was motivational. I could picture you delivering this to an audience physically, for them to catch this point. So yes, it was motivational.
Awesome. So, and the reason why I put the Baron on the spot as well here is he doesn't feel on the spot. It is an advanced club, and he is the sergeant at arms as a club executive, and he trains a lot of people. So we are comfortable talking to each other the way we do. It's an advanced way of training ourselves to get better. So Baron, thank you so much for that evaluation. I really did gain some of the things that you'd mentioned, and I will improve on those things that you mentioned. And also, of course, how it was effective in certain areas as well. So thank you. And oh, by the way, I forgot to put micro habits in summary at the top, my last little bit. So there you go. That was the last click I missed. All right, thank you. With that, I will hand this over back to our general evaluator, Leya Musunga.
Thank you so much for that. So in terms of my general evaluation report, as been stated, this is an advanced club, so most of the planning for the meeting happens 2 weeks plus, where we have the Toastmaster and the person giving the educational speech come together to determine the theme. So in terms of the planning, there's a WhatsApp group that was opened in good time. People were added on it, and that platform provides the role players an opportunity to discuss or maybe share information that may be pertaining to the meeting. So all that happened in the background before today's meeting. There's also a meeting on Thursday that happens where we practice for the Saturday meeting. So a lot of preparation happens before the Saturday meeting, and that's why obviously when we do eventually meet on a Saturday, it tends to be very much a smooth sailing as preparation has happened beforehand. So that was really well done in terms of executing that. I think also in terms of one thing I picked up, I felt like we did quite well with time. I know right now, I think maybe we're just about 4 minutes behind, but I think so, that is not too bad when I look at the agenda. So I think that's quite great. So Toastmaster of the Day, you were the captain of the ship today, so well done in ensuring that you did indeed steer the meeting well in that regard. I think the only other, maybe for me in terms of what we can do well, I think most of the learning points have been noted by our trainer of the day. So I would just say well done to all the people who presented today, and also to all the people who've been here in the meeting today. I'm sure we have all learned a lot from today's meeting. And just to remind you, we have a YouTube page. So if you feel like you want to go back and see more of our today's meeting or even previous meetings, please check out our YouTube page on Leadership Speak on YouTube. Then you can view that. I think at this point I'll hand over to our Toastmaster of the day, Carine.
Thank you very much, Leya, for your diligent feedback, and also to all evaluators. So we will conclude with our thoughts of the day. Daniel, can you share with us your small speech about the theme? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Toastmaster of the Day, the polls.
Building connections. This is the theme of the day, connections, building bridges. And some of the thing about building bridges was uniting every individual, facilitating an inclusive environment where every voice is heard. Leadership Speak in 3 years has been the top club where we have leaders from 29 different countries. 90% of them are not exclusive members of Leadership Speak, but the club still gels very well together. And the quote by Zig Ziglar puts it very well. You can have everything you want in life if you allow enough other people to get what you want. In connecting, we listen critically. We have clear visions, and this has been brought out very well in the speeches, a clear vision of where we are going, but also what everyone brings to the table and put it together for a successful outcome every time. This has been a masterclass, and the theme of the day shows it masterfully, the trust that we have in the club, where every individual can give back, and this brings to the success of the club as a whole. The lessons have been learnt well and have been ingrained in us. And with this, we carry on to our guests and our visitors, joining Leadership Speak, where you're busy is not a thing that we do. We make the most of every time we have in our 24 hours. Building connections. This is what we've learned today very well. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Dan, for this inspiring speech. So I would like to congratulate all speakers, evaluators, technical roles who made this meeting a successful and dynamic meeting. Hope you enjoy a lot with him and you learn a lot of knowledge, because in Toastmasters we learn a lot while enjoying. And if you agree, we can share the results for the best speaker and the best evaluator.
Most of the day, we haven't run the polls for the best evaluator yet.
Ah,
Sorry about that.
okay. Okay, so we can talk later. Okay. So you can vote for the best evaluator. Thank you for launching the poll. And if the results are ready, we can share, or we need to wait for a few minutes. Okay, the best speaker is Brahm. So congratulations to Brahm. And the best evaluator is Sandra. Great job, Sandra. Thank you very much, everyone. And I will hand over to our president, Brahm, to conclude. Back to you.
Thank you. So we need to speak to the guests right now, ladies and gentlemen. And to do that, actually, I will invite our Vice President of Membership to join me, Leya Musunga. Leya, this is all yours today. This game is yours now. Over to you.
Yes.
I'll just
Yeah,
relax.
I did share in the chat the guest book, and I just checked and I saw no one had yet filled in the guest book. So I don't know if we have any guests. Maybe there's still time. I'll just reshare it one more time that you could fill in. Otherwise, in terms of maybe names I might not be too familiar with, or if you are a guest and you are here, you could just unmute yourself so we can just say hi. You can tell us what you enjoyed about our meeting today. Is there anyone who's a guest today who joined us? Or have they left? I'm just trying to scroll now. I can see a name here, Marvin. Hello, Marvin.
Mora, maybe?
Oh, someone has unmuted themselves. Oh, Mora. Hello, Mora.
Hello, how are you? I just want to thank you for the kind invitation of today, and I really love it. I think that for me was impressive that you had 5 speeches and you have 5 evaluators. And I think that what amazed me that even though there were few minutes after the meeting, it was managing excellently, because I have seen some clubs that they have 2 speeches and they are late and say, come on, guys. And you're club 5 speeches plus. It was not 5 to 7 minutes. Actually, there were more. So I really enjoy everybody's roles. And actually, I just want to thank Brahm, I don't know if I pronounced properly, Brahm, for your speech, because you inspire me. I just relate, but the way that he could do, I say, oh my God. So maybe I will copy you. No, don't copy. But I really love the way how did you do it. And I just want to wish you a nice weekend and thank you for today. It was very, very helpful. I love all the speeches, all the evaluators, but I have my favorites. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you love the energy. I think you had previously come and you said you belong to another club, but yeah, the space is still open. You can still join us here at Leadership Speak.
I hope to actually meet with Maura on March the 7th. We are trying to schedule a meeting.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
But
great.
thank you, Maura.
Yeah.
And she's in Italy, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for continuing to come and even to just share your thoughts with us. I don't know if there is any other guest. You can unmute if you're not feeling shy. Otherwise, okay, if people are leaving. Otherwise, I guess then that will be it. Then I'll hand over to, I guess, back to the president for the closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Leya. You did an excellent job today, and it's been great to have this meeting. It was a great meeting, as it is when in a very large club. Sometimes, of course, people can't come on because technical difficulties. They are from all over the world. Some people are from parts of the world where internet falls through, or power and lighting isn't suddenly goes off, and so they can't attend the meeting. And those are the things we accept, unavoidable. So it's been a great meeting after all. I mean, despite that. And I have a terrible bad cold right now, so I won't speak much more, and I'll hand this back to our Toastmaster of the day, who's done a wonderful job. But before I do, there's something here. Can you spotlight Carine here with me? And so what I would like to say is this, Carine rarely comes to the club, but she does a lot of work in the background. Every time a role falls through and I say, oh, somebody's declined a role, or how can I replace that person? And I go to the agenda and it's already been replaced instantaneously. I don't know, do you ever sleep, Carine? I mean, the amount of work that you do in the background, without you, this club wouldn't really function the way it's functioning so effectively. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and the top of my heart and middle of my heart, the whole heart. The things that you do for this club is just awesome. And I'm so thankful that and grateful and appreciative of you serve with no expectation in the least bit. You are not looking for status. You're not looking for recognition. You just serve. And I love that service, the heart of service. That's pure gold. So thank you.
You're welcome, Brahm. This is my pleasure to be part of this club.
Now you can take over and finish the meeting.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. It was a wonderful meeting. I hope everyone enjoys as me. And the theme also was incredible because we are a huge club. And as you see, we have a lot of connection with all members. It is very interesting. It brings me a lot, and especially your expertise, your valuable experience. And it brings me a lot for me because I can grow with you, and I can also gain a big trust with you. And thank you for that, guys. So the meeting is over, and I hope to see you the next session on 1st of March.
Thank you, Carine. So, awesome.